Hello there, welcome to Granada Reports, live with the latest across the northwest.
Hello, thanks for joining us. On the programme this evening.
A 3-year-old boy dies after a suspected dog attack in Rochdale. We're live at the scene with the latest.
The incredible reaction after that hug at the airport. Patrick meets his genetic twin and lifesaver. We talked to both of them. And Pete, the dad, still waiting for someone to save him.
Seeing the sights, the Ukrainian refugees on a fully translated tour of Manchester's historical highlights.
Maybe you've had to take shelter from a few downpours today. Any more on the cards? Find out later on in the forecast.
Welcome to the programme. First tonight, Greater Manchester Police are investigating after a 3-year-old boy died in a suspected dog attack at a farm in Rochdale.
In the last few hours, police have revealed they're also investigating previous incidents involving dogs at the same address in Milnrow.
Our correspondent Elaine Wilcox is outside the farm now. Elaine, such terribly distressing news. What's the latest?
Well, Andy, there has been a significant police presence in Milnrow throughout the day as police continue their investigation into the 3-year-old boy's death. What we know, police have said the little boy was outside with a number of dogs prior to him being found with serious injuries. Emergency services were called at lunchtime yesterday to this remote farmhouse in rural Rochdale. He was taken to hospital but sadly died of those injuries. Now, police have said they've seized a number of dogs at the address and one has been humanely destroyed.
And Elaine, the police have said there have been previous incidents with dogs at this property.
Yes, Lucy, what they've said is that they are investigating the circumstances of this incident while reviewing previous incidents involving dogs at this property. And a young woman has said how she suffered a serious arm injury after being attacked by a dog in the area last April, and that she reported that to the police. Now, the remote farmhouse has signs outside warning people that dogs are on the loose and do not exit your property. Local dog walkers have told us that they have been avoiding this area and they are shocked and saddened by this little boy's death. It is not clear at this stage whether this little boy was living at the address or visiting this property, but Greater Manchester Police say his loved ones are being supported by specially trained officers. Now, as police had previous contact with people at this address, they've referred themselves to the police watchdog, the IOPC, and they've also said so far there have been no arrests, but this little boy's death is now the subject of a criminal investigation.
OK, Elaine Wilcox in Rochdale for us this evening. Thank you.
Well, next tonight, an increasing danger on our streets. All this week, police forces are taking part in a major crackdown against knife crime.
And a campaigner from Merseyside has travelled 250 miles to take her message and some vital training to the heart of government at Westminster.
Laura Hughes has devoted her life to reducing knife crime after her brother Colin was stabbed to death 21 years ago. With her at Westminster tonight is our political correspondent Leisha McNally, and we should warn you that in this report there are graphic images and flashing lights.
From the northwest to Westminster, campaigners have come to give a lesson in life-saving on a rather realistic wounded leg.
And there's blood everywhere. So we're going to follow the ABC approach that we've taught you.
These Merseyside medics are showing MPs how to use bleeding control kits, a first aid pack that can make all the difference when someone has been stabbed, buying precious time before paramedics arrive. Laura Hughes knows all too well just how precious that can be.
He would never have survived his injuries, but he did get to say goodbye to my mum and dad.
Her brother, Colin McGinty, was just 21 when he was killed, stabbed as he walked home in a case of mistaken identity. She's made this journey to spare other families the horror and grief she's lived with for 2 decades.
The impact of losing a loved one through murder, manslaughter, knife crime is horrific, and it's actually, for the victims' families, a life sentence. The passion for our campaign has stemmed from what has happened to Colin. As it stands, an ambulance can take around 7 to 8 minutes to arrive at an emergency scene. It takes a person approximately 5 minutes to bleed to death. So these kits are vital in every community.
The Knife Savers campaign aims to have these kits distributed in bars and youth centres all across the country, an effort Laura's MP is backing.
My constituents benefit from it, and I want everybody to have that opportunity of having a bleed control kit that will save their life when they need it. And I want local authorities, I want government to adopt this too, and I think that's the next step.
This is just one part of the Knife Savers campaign, which urges young people not to carry the potentially deadly weapons in the first place. So while the team here hope politicians will remember today's life-saving lessons, they hope even more that they'll never need to use them. Leisha McNally, ITV News, Westminster.
Police are appealing after 3 school children have gone missing from Stockport. 11-year-old Anthony Lever, 14-year-old Alicia Sutton and her brother Joseph, also 11, were last seen yesterday and are now all believed to be in London. Anthony's not believed to have a mobile phone with him and doesn't have access to money. Greater Manchester Police is asking anyone with information to get in touch.
Now, the hug that we all wanted to see all over again. It was one of the most moving scenes that we've ever brought you on Granada Reports. A man who had been at death's door with blood cancer, meeting the man who saved his life.
Thank you.
Yes, that was Patrick Languzzi from Boston, Massachusetts, meeting Alex Christopher from Chorley. Alex had donated stem cells to Patrick after being found to be a genetic match.
Well, the whole reason it happened was down to another man, Pete McCleve from Cheshire. Pete also has the blood cancer myeloma and needs a stem cell transplant. It was him who started this new hunt for matches with his charity 10,000 Donors.
Well, they joined us earlier and told us about the incredible response they've had since the story aired.
Obviously, you've followed this story for quite some time now, and the response has always been unbelievable, with people sort of showing interest and asking questions. For me anyway, it seems to have taken on a whole new level because it's so much more tangible now that I've met Patrick in person. People can see like the full start to finish of my journey. And I think people are seeing it now and sort of want to be part of it themselves. They understand the magnitude of what I've done. Even if I can't process it myself properly, and they see it as like, I can do that, I want to do that. And it's just, for me, it's been great. I've just been inundated with messages and tweets and stuff on LinkedIn, and just not just people saying, well done, this is amazing, but like, how can I do it? How can I help? So, yeah.
What was that moment like? Were you nervous?
I was terrified, absolutely terrified. I was sort of gripping onto the barrier. I was like, is this him? Is this him? Should I go under now? I was saying to Pete, and I said to you guys earlier, that sort of we had Pete on one end and Jack from Dear Chemist on the other, watching the 2 doors to see which side he was going to come from. And Pete waved over, and I thought that was a signal to say he'd arrived. But he was just waving over to Jack from Dear Chemist behind us, so I was just like, and then managed to compose myself, and I think it gave me a bit of a dry run emotionally. So I was a bit more composed when Patrick did come through, but I still couldn't help but just duck under that barrier and just wait there waving and just throw my arms around Patrick and his wife. So yeah, what a moment.
Now, Pete, everyone is willing you to find a match. Why is it proving so difficult?
I guess I'm a walking example of the health inequality that currently permeates the health system, especially around stem cell, blood, plasma and organ donation. Right now there just aren't enough people, pure numbers, of people on the register, but also the diversity is not broad enough either. My background is Macanese, Chinese Portuguese, with a bit of Irish and English thrown in for good measure, so it's a bit of a rare blend. There aren't that many people from Macau, I think 40,000 globally, but second, third generation, which is where I come in, even fewer. So there aren't enough people, period, on the register, but that lack of diversity hits all people of minority ethnic backgrounds. You've got, at best, a 20% chance of finding your match.
Well, Pete, that hunt for that match is now being really stepped up in America because we've got Patrick joining us back home now. Patrick, how important is it for you to help find Pete this match?
Oh, you know, the whole flight home, I was trying to come up with some ideas on what I could do to help Pete. I'm determined to do what I can to help him because of his efforts. as we all know, Alex ended up being my donor, and he was the only match I had in the entire world. So I'm eternally grateful to both of these gentlemen, but I'm determined to do what I can to help Pete here in the United States.
Because you think of these guys like your brothers now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, we spent a lot of time together last week, and I felt as though, you know, we've all known each other our entire life.
Pete, let's get the last word from you. You say it's a numbers game, but this is really, I mean, we're talking about your future here. We're talking about your family, your friends, aren't we? What do you want to say?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not in a unique position. Every 20 minutes, someone somewhere is diagnosed with a blood cancer. I'm at the pointy end of my own prognosis. Potentially 2 more years left unless I can find that elusive match, which is, it's easy to say sometimes, but not easy to take on board and acknowledge yourself. But the reality is I have 2 boys at home and a wife who I have no intention of not being around beyond those 2 years. And that's why talking about it, making people aware of how simple it is to swab your cheek and register and become a potential lifesaver is just a huge part of what I not just need to do, but I want to do. It's something which can be fixed.
You look so well. It's hard to believe how ill you are, really.
Yeah, the chemotherapy is working at the moment, and what side effects I have, I can manage. And for me, keeping going, getting up every day is the most important thing. I don't necessarily have the luxury of looking forward to retirement at the age of 65 or 70 or whatever it is it's going to be, but what I do have is the luxury of engaging with opportunities like this and meeting people like Patrick and making sure I do what I can to make the most of my day. You know, I woke up this morning and I'll go to bed tonight and I'll wake up again tomorrow. I'm very grateful for that.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Patrick, thank you very much to you. Alex, well done.
Thank you.
Pete, great to see you again.
Oh, thanks, guys. Thank you very much.
Well, let me tell you that there is more information about Pete McCleave's campaign called 10,000 Donors, although now it's heading for 100,000 donors. You can read about how to donate stem cells on our website. You could save a life. It could be Pete's life. Just head to itv.com/Granada for that.
Yeah, 3 very special men doing very good things there. You're watching Granada Reports, and here is what is still to come on the ITV News at 6:30 with Lucrezia.
Coming up, Boris Johnson in Belfast for Brexit crisis talks. The Prime Minister's preparing to tear up parts of the Northern Ireland Protocol, hoping to end the political stalemate at Stormont, but the EU is likely to object. Also ahead, Colleen Rooney tells the High Court why she has suspicions about Rebecca Vardy. Could your energy bill go up 4 times a year? The proposal for a more frequent review of the price cap. Plus, the British mountaineer once told he'd never walk again on climbing Everest for a record 16th time. Join me at 6:30.
Now to the promotion party that is in full swing as Stockport celebrate their return to the Football League. After more than a decade of trying, the club have been promoted from the National League. Well, the celebrations are continuing this evening with a parade and a party at the stadium, and that's where we can join Chris Hall. Chris, they've had to wait a long time for this, so they're going to make it count, aren't they?
Yes, tonight we doff our caps to the Hatters, the champions of the National League North. Of the National League, I should say. National League North was a few years ago. They are going back into the Football League for the first time after an 11-year absence, back where they belong, say these supporters. A lot of clubs would say it's where their club belongs. But you've got to remember that at the start of the millennium, Stockport County were beating teams like Manchester City before their free fall all the way down to that National League North. So you can see what it means to all of these supporters who've been lining the routes of an open-top bus parade today. In their thousands, the players and the staff going round the town of Stockport before ending up here at Edgeley Park and showing the trophy off one by one to their adoring faithful. It's quite a party here, and it's one that's been going on at Edgeley Park for the last 24 hours.
Unbelievable, 11 long years in the National League, back where we belong in the Football League, can't believe it.
It's been a proper roller coaster for all of us, I think, but it's absolutely over the moon now.
The fans have stayed with them through thick and thin. Why?
We just hang on in there and we believe in them, whatever. We've had some dark days, so I'm so proud of them.
Can't put into words. The fans have been amazing today, man. And come on, County!
Oh, absolutely buzzing. What a feeling! Like,
The support's been amazing. It gives you that extra boost, and today you could just see how amazing everyone is. Look at
My left back! With the chairman's backing, obviously the fan base the club have, it can go anywhere, do you know what I mean? So just need to keep going next season and keep going.
When I signed here, that was the goal to get back into the EFL, so we're just happy we can put a smile on all the faces.
It's going to be some party tonight, isn't it?
We'll be sinking a few Guinness, all right, yeah.
This is a special day, and it's a town that deserves a Football League team, and now they've got one.
Come on! You get to let your hair down now in that dressing room and start to enjoy yourself. Party tonight?
Absolutely. Although I want to enjoy tonight and remember the moment, I hope I remember absolutely nothing about it.
The manager may not remember, but for the fans, County's comeback will never be forgotten. Amazing scenes here yesterday, amazing scenes here today as well, and enjoying them with me is the club's former director, John Kieran. John, just explain to us, put it into context, how important was it to get promoted?
I think it's arguably the club to return to the Football League after an 11-year exile. You can see what it means to these guys. It was a very emotional afternoon, but it's been a great 24 hours since.
Well, you mentioned the supporters here. We saw quite an emotional exchange outside the ground with manager Dave Challoner chatting to one of your oldest and most loyal fans who was in tears and just saying thank you over again. They've put up with a lot these last few years, haven't they?
They certainly have, and we've got such a young fan base as well. Some of these young supporters have only ever known us as a semi-professional part-time club, so now to be full-time, back in the big time, it's terrific for them in particular.
Now, you were part of the sale of this club to Mark Stott, who's taken it over and in the last few years has put millions into this club. He has a big vision for where this club can end up in the Football League. Where is that, do you think?
Well, we had a big vision, but we didn't have the pockets deep enough to do it. But Mark Stott came along. He's been the club's saviour, there's no question about that. We're quite smug in a way because we think we stabilised the club and put it into a good position where somebody like Mark wanted to take it on. He could see the potential, he could see the ambition, and he's got a plan to return Stockport County to the Championship in 7 years. And with support like this, you can't doubt it.
John, thanks very much. I want to come out of that because I just want to see a little bit of these great celebrations here. Fantastic times at Stockport County. They've seen dark times. They've been to the likes of Colwyn Bay and Vauxhall Motors. Now they get to celebrate going back into League Two. I'll hand back to you.
Oh, fantastic, Chris. Thank you so much. What fantastic scenes there at Stockport. Well, like them, Liverpool have also been celebrating after winning the FA Cup to keep alive their hopes of the quadruple. Today, Jurgen Klopp said he didn't enjoy hearing Liverpool fans boo the national anthem at Wembley, but defended them by saying they wouldn't do it without a reason. Well, just like in the League Cup final, Liverpool beat Chelsea in the FA Cup final on penalties. Kostas Tsimikas scored the winning spot kick to become the hero among the fans and his teammates.
Great lad, he's come in a team and he's done well, so I'm so proud of him, the whole team are proud of him. But what I want to say is you need to do your interview in Scouse. Can't stand there.
I try a bit.
It's coming along. Give them a little bit in Scouse.
Tell them who I am.
He's the Greek Scouser, but we've changed it now to
the Scouse Greek.
Yeah.
Right, next we're asking if you've ever been to a city and gone on a walking tour to find out about its history and art.
Well, closer to home, of course, there are plenty of brilliant walking tours of our towns and cities where you can learn a lot about places you thought you already knew. But next, a walking tour with a difference.
Yeah, this one isn't actually for tourists, but for Ukrainian refugees. And translating the tour into Ukrainian was journalist Maria Romanenko, whose story we followed since she fled from the Russian invasion of her country.
Yeah, with the walkers was our reporter Victoria Grimes.
We're going to do our very best to show you around Manchester, introduce you to the spirit and the story of Manchester.
This is a tour about much more than showing off Manchester's famous monuments. It's about showing solidarity with those in desperate need. Maria understands more than most how those here are feeling. She also fled war in Ukraine for a new life here with her partner. She wants her countrywomen to be welcomed as she was.
Until you're actually there and experience it firsthand, you can't really grasp the full the full picture and the horror of what's going on. And so, I think it's important for me to do this because I can hopefully help people who are less fortunate than me in terms of that they don't have anybody here.
For most of this audience, those horrors are fresh in their minds. Yulia escaped her hometown near Bucha, a town which saw some of the most brutal acts of this conflict.
We was in occupation more than 16 days. We live in cellar because we very scared to be at home. Also, our house is damaged by bombs.
Yulia's family are still in Ukraine. They're relieved she's safe. With a PhD in economics, she's hoping for a job and a new life here. She's keen to get to know the place she now calls home.
It's very nice to know more about Manchester, the city where I choose.
Yulia's not the only one on this tour who's left loved ones behind. 4-year-old Sophia's dad is fighting for his country. Like everyone here, she's trying hard to fit in, learning English at her new school.
Good morning, sorry.
Sorry.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
This is a chance for Ukrainians to learn more about the history and culture of Manchester and a way for people here to help in a hopeless situation.
It's really easy to feel powerless and like what is it that I can do, and when Maria asked me I just felt so glad because I was like, this is something that I can very easily do that will hopefully have a positive impact in helping people feel at home in Manchester.
And whilst getting to know the city, they're getting to know each other. Anna's here with her host family.
It's very important that she knows that she's not alone and that there are other people in exactly the same situation.
Soon she meets Daria. She's the same age and arrived from Kyiv just the day before.
Is it a relief to be here? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Whatever your generation, friends can make all the difference. Bogdan and Mark are both missing theirs at home. But on this tour, they found each other.
How is it to make a new friend today? How does it feel? And those smiles say it all. Victoria Grimes, ITV News, Manchester.
It's nice. Yeah. Good.
Yeah, great to see those new friendships being made. Please, let's all do our bit to make them welcome. Now, the weather with Joe.
Now that is brew weather.
And only boiling what she needs.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Big up you, sis.
Thank you. A very good evening to you. Hopefully you've been able to see a bit of warm sunshine today. There have been some rumbles of thunder and very heavy downpours for our part of the world. The humidity's been rising through this afternoon. I felt my hair growing like a mushroom. And over the next few days, humid with some warm spells of sunshine to come, as well as that, a few heavy showers. But tomorrow, for most of us, should be largely dry. That feed of warm air across the UK, giving temperatures across the north of England a real boost over the next few days, between 20 and 23 Celsius certainly tomorrow, and even into the weekend holding on very nicely and still above average for the time of year. Now this evening, through the rush hour, heavy downpours, but these beginning to ease now and move northwards. And as we go through into tonight, skies will clear. After midnight, it should be largely dry across the board. A few mist patches here and there, a gentle breeze, and rural spots could dip to around 6 or 7 Celsius. But I think in towns and cities, a robust 10 or 11 degrees tonight. On to tomorrow, and the sun will be up first thing at 5:06, setting at 9:09 tomorrow evening. Tomorrow then, not a bad start at all. Certainly more sunshine on offer than we saw this morning. A few mist patches which will lift very promptly. A gentle breeze, and it should be a dry day for most places with temperatures on the rise. However, Isle of Man, Irish Sea coast beginning to see more cloud later on in the day, and perhaps a few showers for you later on. Elsewhere, it'll be very warm, humid, 23 Celsius in Manchester tomorrow afternoon. And we'll pull in more cloud over the next few days, with a spell of heavy rain Wednesday night into Thursday. But Thursday will brighten up and it remains quite warm.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
2 sugars, please.
Oh, lovely.
Hello, summer. Piri sponsors ITV Pollen Count.
And I'm not crying, it's just the pollen. It's high at the moment. Tree pollen is the real problem for hay fever sufferers over the next few days. But grass pollen is beginning to creep in now. Take care. See you soon.
Yeah, thanks for that, Joe. Tomorrow night we're with the air traffic control team going up in the world for charity.
Yeah, like what you did there. And we have an exclusive interview with the Elbow frontman Guy Garvey, a man, of course, who is so hugely proud of his Northwest roots. He's looking forward to appearing at the Lytham Festival this summer. For now, though, many thanks for watching and have a great night.
Thanks very much for watching. See you soon. Bye-bye.